Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to What Up Clay. This channel we talk about constantly how to fix it, how to maintain it, how to build it, or anything else that comes across my desk. Today I'm going to talk about how to properly prep an alarm system installed in your vehicle. I'm going to put an alarm system in my 2004 F-150. All cars are different, wire locations, what wires to use, how to hook them up. Every vehicle is different. So again, in this video, I'm just going to show you how to properly prep your alarm system for just about any type of vehicle, like your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, whatever. A little bit about my background. Of course, it's been many years. I was a MECP, Master MECP certified. I have over 15 years of experience in the automotive industry, working on automotive electronics. Custom stuff was basically my specialty. So anyhow, again, this video is to show you how to prep your alarm system properly. And so let's go ahead and get to it. All right, as you see here, I have the alarm. It's a Clifford Matrix 12. This is an older alarm system, however, it's a very good alarm system. I had this system sitting in my storage for quite some time. I guess now is the best time to break it out. What I have here is the main harness. Got that right here. I have the auxiliary harness here, the door lock harness, the program button, the LED, the antenna, and last but not least, I have the siren here. These here are the remotes for this alarm. This is a DEI product. DEI is, if I was to recommend any alarm system, it would be a DEI alarm system. They've been the most reliable for me. I've installed just about any brand that you could think of out there. I've installed them all. There are some other good brands out there, but again, the ones that I've had the least amount of problem with and ease of installation are the DEI products, such as the Viper, the Clifford, Avidol, and so on. So let's go ahead and get started. Where I'll start by going over the main harness first. So just go ahead and take a look at that. Alright, first things first, you want to find out what wiring on your vehicle you're going to want to use, what you're going to be connecting to. This right here is for a 2004 F-150, the wiring diagram. Now you can go online, you can find it just about anywhere on the internet. Just type your vehicle in, look for alarm wire diagram, and it'll punch up a sheet that looks something like this. So again, we'll go ahead and go over each step. Now, it can be very intimidating on what wires are going to be used, how to hook them up, and so on. So again, we're going to go over and we'll just take one step at a time. That's all you got to do. Just remember, one step at a time. The constant wire. You will be using the constant wire because that's going to get you power to your alarm system. Ignition wire. That right there you'll need, because that right there is going to tell your alarm when your car is turned on. Starter wire, if you want to use starter kill. Not a lot of people use starter kill because cars now have transponders built inside the key, so you don't really need the starter kill anymore. However, we'll go ahead and go over that one as well. And if they do have your key and you have a transponder in your key, starter kill is not going to help anyway, because they're going to be able to start the car. And more likely they'll have the remote for your car as well. So, but just in case, we're going to do that. Dome light supervision. This right here is when you disarm your vehicle, it turns your dome light on inside your car, so you can see inside your car as you walk up to it if it's dark outside. So we like that. Let's go ahead and do that. Trunk pin switch. This right here is in case if you have a trunk on your vehicle, you'll hook this switch right here to it. Therefore, when somebody opens up your trunk of the vehicle, it'll set the alarm off. I do not have a trunk on my vehicle, but I do have a hood. And on this one right here, it doesn't show anywhere where there's a hood switch, but I'm going to install one on my vehicle. Anyhow, nothing there, so I'm not going to do that one. Parking lamps. This right here is if you want your parking lights to come on, flash, or anything like that. That right there, yes, we do. We do want the parking lights to flash. So that will tell us if we're at a distance. If it's if the alarm goes off, the lights will start flashing. and it'll let us know that's our car that's flashing. It'll also let you know if your car armed or disarmed, because sometimes it's loud outside and you can't hear your car chirp. Now, when you do these here, you want to go all the way across, and you want to go all the way to the light switch. Dome light, same thing, you'll go all the way across. This right here just lets you know, just being able to quick reference where everything's at. These here, they're pretty much always going to be at the ignition switch. So the polarities and stuff, they're already listed over here, 12 volts, 12 volts. Start doesn't matter what polarity it is, because you're interrupting it anyways. Let's see here. Door lock circuit. Power windows, we're not doing power windows. This right here is usually for, let's see, ignition key warning. Nope, we're not doing that one. Trunk release, we don't have a trunk release or a tailgate release. ORM horn honk, that right there we do want. This right here is if your alarm goes off, it will honk the alarm on your, it will honk the horn on your car. So that we'll go ahead and do. Headlights, we don't want headlights. OEM alarm disarm. Most cars nowadays, especially year 2000 up, they come with the factory alarm system. On this F-150, the factory alarm system arms, OEM alarm arm, it arms when you lock the doors, and it disarms when you unlock the door. So that right there is something I don't have to worry about, because I'm going to hook the alarm up to my door lock, so it'll disarm the alarm as soon as I unlock the door. Rear sliding windows, I don't have that on my vehicle, so I'm not going to worry about that. Tachometer, don't need it. Ignition, I'm not doing remote start. This right here is the remote start section. I'm not doing any of this, so I'm not even going to worry about it. So right here, I'm going to do the nope, up here I forgot. I'm going to do my power lock. I gotta do that one. Well, almost missed that one. And I have to do my power unlock. I want to get that one too. Right here it says it gives a note, negative pulse door lock circuit. That means that these right here will be a negative trigger. I mean, it's a ground pulse will either lock or unlock the vehicle. Depends on, of course, which one you go to. So these right here are the wires I'm going to use. All the ones are highlighted. So now when I start to prep my wire harness, I can quickly go back to find out which one they went to. Again, I'm not doing any of these. Double check it. Headlights, nope. Alarm disarm, nope, not doing those. No slime work, and I'm not doing remote start. That'll come in another day. Alright guys, let's get on to the harness now. Alright, what I have here is I have this right here is the primary harness, the main harness, what you want, whatever you want to call it. A lot of alarm companies out there, they copy the DEI wire color codes. So a lot of these wires will relate to the same, but you can see how they are, the colors, and what the triggers are. We'll go over those just in case they're a different color on your alarm. You'll be able to differentiate which wire is which and prep it in the same way we're going to do here. So first thing we're going to do is we'll go ahead and unravel this bad boy. Okay, now that's a whole lot of wiring right there. What I like to do is I like to make it more organized, straighten out a little bit here. Now there you go. So what I'll do is I'll actually tape these wires up from here to right about there. I'm going to grab my tape here real quick, and I'll show you what I'm taping up. Okay, so as I'm taping this up, I get to the switch. As you see, I separated the switch so it kind of stands out a little bit by itself. I want to do that because I want to be able to get to it. However, I don't want it to be able to short out on anything. I had it happen to me once. One of these little pegs right here shorted out on a piece of metal in the dash, and it popped the fuse. Luckily, it hit the this side of it, so that popped the fuse. So also, it keeps it from anybody going in and reaching up there, grabbing the fuse and pulling it out, and it makes so the fuse doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. So what I do is I go ahead and I put a layer of tape over it, and I finish taping it out like this. Again, I go out about 1.5 inches past the fuse, and that's about that's it. That's my initial taping of the main harness. Okay, remember how I said you just take one wire at a time, one step at a time. Do not go too fast. You'll make yourself all confused. Things get messy, things get dirty, and no pun intended, but wires get crossed. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to look and see what we have here. Red, white. That right there is channel 2 output. If you have a trunk release or something like that, you'll keep that wire there. Are we going to use that wire? This is the red wire, red, white. No, I'm not going to use that wire. So what I do is I'll just cut that wire off right there. Now, the reason why I tape everything to here is because let's say down the road I decide I do want to use that wire. I know that I can go back to this spot and that wire is going to be right there. I can just cut this tape right there, pull that wire out, bam, that wire is going to be right there. I don't have to look anywhere else in the vehicle for the other end of this wire. It's right there. That goes with any wire that I'm not using. So the next one that we come down to is the red wire. The red wire is the constant 12-volt input. This right here is going to get power, constant power to the alarm system. Some people run a power wire like a 14 gauge wire, power wire, 12 gauge power wire straight from the battery to the alarm system. If you're doing just a basic alarm system and the wire that you have in there already is like a 12 gauge wire, I've never experienced any problem with there being a huge power draw. The reason behind it is nothing else is really going on inside the car if your alarm is working, while your alarm's working or actually operating. So it's not going to be drawing more than 15 to 20 amps from your alarm system or from that wire. And that wire is that big in your car because it's designed to have a current draw of about 20 to 30 amps. We're not going to meet that. This fuse in here right here is only a 10 amp. So that means the alarm system is not going to draw more than 10 amps. If I want to add more stuff on, I'll do relays and then I'll run a power wire from the battery to it. But again, I'm not doing that with this one. So again, I want to use the red wire, so I'll take the red wire and I'll put the red wire off to the side. Next one is going to be the brown wire. The brown wire is going to be the positive siren output. This is the brown wire. This wire right here will go to the alarm, go to the siren, which is going to be the red wire on the siren. So we'll go ahead and put that to the side. We want that one. What's the next one we got? Yellow. That's the ignition switch. This right here, when the key gets turned on, it powers this up. It tells the alarm that your car is starting. So if the alarm is activated and somebody tries to start your car, they'll set the alarm off. Also, this lets your alarm know that you turn the key on, so that you can program. Because there'll be times when you have to turn the car on and off a few times to program the alarm button or alarm system using the valet button. So this right here, we need that too. Gotta have that. Okay. The black wire, that is the ground wire. Need that because if it's something electrical, you need two things for something electrical to work. What is it? Power and ground. Red wire is power, black is ground. We have next is the violet wire. This right here is going to be the door trigger wire. Well, what's the door trigger wire that we're using on here? Let's see, we have I don't see it. I did not do the door trigger wire. It's not on this it's not on this diagram. I'm gonna have to pull that one up. Anyhow, I know that the door trigger wire on this one is going to be a positive, which is the purple, the violet one. You can connect that to the dome switch. That right there will also work for the door trigger as well if you go to the dome switch. Even whether the switch is on or off at the door, it doesn't matter because it sends a signal out from the door up to the switch. So again, it doesn't matter if the switch is on or off to the dome light, it will still activate that wire that this right here connects to. So let's see, where next we have the blue wire, instant trigger. This right here is if you have a trunk or a hood or whatever. This right here, there's a we don't have a trunk pin, but like I said, I am going to use a hood pin. So that's something I want to use to hook up to my hood. Unfortunately, my truck doesn't have a hood switch built in. Some vehicles do, mine doesn't, so I'm going to hook one up. So blue I'm using, green, that's negative trigger. I don't have a negative trigger input, so for my doors, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that wire off. Remember, I have a positive trigger to activate the doors. What that does when you open the door, it sends a pulse out. Well, this right here, if it sends a negative pulse out saying my door is open, I would use the green wire. But because my my vehicle has a positive pulse, because I'm going to use a dome light wire, I'm using the violet wire. Okay, next one, black white, dome light supervision. So dome light supervision is going to be the black white wire. What that does is when you disarm your vehicle, the dome light comes on. So I'm going to be attaching this wire to the violet wire. Now the black white wire, it has another input on another harness, auxiliary harness, that I'll show you that later, that you can change the output of this. So whatever you connect the auxiliary wire to, I'll show you in a bit. That'll be the next wire to do. It'll show how to do this. Sorry, it's not the auxiliary wire, it's the door lock wire, but I'll get to that in another harness. So we're going to take this wire here, we want this, we're going to put that to the side. The next one is black white, let's see, white blue. That is channel 3 output. I'm not going to use that output. I don't have anything I want to hook up to it. That'd be something I'd use. Let's say if I had a button if I wanted to hook a button up to the gas cap door to open the gas cap door, whatever, this is what I'd use. Or if I did add remote start to the vehicle, I would hook this wire up to the remote start wire, or the remote start module. Next one's white wire. That one there is light flash output. It is selectable. I'll show you how to do that one later, but my light parking light output was brown. It's a positive output, so I'll be changing that to a positive output, and I'll show you how to do that in a bit. And the last but not least is the orange. This wire here, when you arm your vehicle, this right here shoots out a ground trigger. So this becomes ground wire when you activate your alarm. This right here would connect to something like if you had a external starter kill relay. The alarm that I have has a built-in starter kill relay. This right here is in case you have an external starter kill relay. This right here would connect to that. Because I'm not using this, I'm gonna go ahead and chop that off. So don't need it. Now, here's what I have left. I have a power, I have ignition, I have my ground wire, I have my door trigger wire, I have my siren output wire, I have my my dome light supervision wire, I have my parking light activation wire. Again, the parking light is for you can see your car arm and disarm from a distance. When you arm it, the lights will flash once. Disarm it, the lights will flash twice. If it flashes more than twice, that means your alarm went off while you were gone, and there's ways to check and see what set it off. And also, if the alarm goes off, the lights will continue to flash as the alarm is going off, the horns honking, stuff like that. So, and this right here is the instant trigger that I'm going to hook up to the hood pin on my vehicle. So, all right, now let's go ahead and separate these and tape them up. Okay, now we'll separate these wires in according to what location they go. Therefore, you have one clean strand of wires. You don't have a whole big mess of wires going anywhere, so on and so forth. All the wires will be running uniform. So I know that the ignition harness is going to consist of my constant 12 volts, my ignition 12 volts, and the starter. The starter is on a different harness, so those will be run differently. But I do know that these right here are going to be running together, going to the ignition harness. So what I'll do with this is I'll go ahead and I'll tape this up. I'll tape those two up. These are the only ones that are going in that location. But I won't tape it all the way up. I'll just tape it to right about there because I have to run other wires with it. Another thing is I'll do is I'll take and I'll tie the other end here to a drill and I'll spin them, and it keeps them together, keeps it looking clean, really nice. Alright, so here's the wire all spun out. What I did is I hooked it to my drill, I spun them. Now, you don't want to spin it too tight because it'll stretch the wires in the middle and it'll actually break the copper wire inside the shielding. So you don't want to make it too tight. What a lot of people do when they do this is they'll take the brain, they'll mount it down on the workbench, they'll put a strap on this or put it inside the vise or whatever. They'll plug all the harnesses into it and then work off it that way. Now, that's a good way of doing it for cleaner installs. However, it can be very difficult for a first timer because of how you're not quite sure where all the wires are going, and then to make a uniform. But at the end, it'll be that way. So that's just another idea that you can do. If that's the route you want to do, you can do it that way. So, but we will end up plugging them in and then taping the wires as we go along. So the next wires that we'll hook up are we know that the door lock wires, or that not door lock, but we know that the dome light wire and the door trigger wire are going to run together. So those are going to go to the dome light wire is going to go to the driver's kick panel. So just like the last one, I'll go ahead and tape this up about 6 inches out. Alright, now we have the, let's see, OEM horn honk. We want to do that one, but that's going to be on a different harness. And then we have the parking lamps. Those are going to be the headlight switch. So that's going to a different location. We could tape that one by itself. And we have the ground. Okay, so what I do, I know that I'm going to be hooking up a hood pin, right? So this is going to go towards the pin that's underneath the hood. This is the siren wire, which is also going to be in the engine compartment underneath the hood. So I can put these two wires together. Now, I'm going to be running wires from the engine compartment into the car. I'm not going to run these outside the vehicle, outside into the engine compartment. I'm going to run the wires in. There's going to be a ground wire for the siren. I don't want to mount a ground wire for the siren underneath the engine compartment. The reason behind that is there's a lot of rust and corrosion that goes on in the engine compartment. You can get a bad ground, next you know your siren's really not working. So I'm going to be bringing the two siren wires inside the vehicle. So I'm just going to go ahead and run the black wire because I have to ground that one too, so I can ground the alarm and the siren in the same location. So I'm going to go ahead and tape these wires here, these three wires. I'm going to tape these three wires right here together and run those. These right here are going to run up underneath the dash. I'll put those at about 6 inches out too. Again, this right here, the white one is going to run by itself. So I'll run that one. I'm going to tape that one up by itself. I'll actually take this one and I can take and tape this one all the way out, the white one all the way out, but I know where I'm mounting the brain for the alarm is not that far from the light switch, so I don't have to go too far with it. Alright, so that's the main harness. Taped up, looking pretty. Now I'm not done taping up though. I still have to tape this section up here, but I'm not going to do that until I get my other harnesses ready to go. So, because I'm going to tape them all together. Alright, here we have the auxiliary harness. Auxiliary harness, this is where you have a bunch of different outputs, zones, hood pin, and so on. So on the blue wire that I had, I do not need to use that blue wire that I had on there. Which is fine because I'm going to use that blue wire for another trigger that I'm going to install. I'm going to install a backup battery in the alarm, so that's perfectly fine. I'm going to keep that blue wire where it's at. So in this wire harness here, they're really short. They make them that way, don't know why. They should at least put another 6 inches on and make it good. So, light blue, second unlock wire. My truck does not have a second unlock wire. The second unlock wire is good if you have to, some cars you'll hit the button and unlock the first lock, just the driver's side, and then you hit it again and it'll unlock the rest of the doors. You can hook up just about any alarm to do that. However, you have to use relays and stuff, which, again, a little complicated. I don't care too much about that luxury. Gray wire, we're going to use the gray wire. I want that one. Orange black, accessory output, gray black channel, I'm not going to use any of those. Horn honk output, which is the light brown. Give me that one right there, I want that one. And then the factory disarm. If you remember the factory disarm, over here, the factory disarm operates when you unlock the door. So that's going to happen as soon as we unlock the door. It's going to disarm the alarm. So these right here are the two wires I want. The rest of the wires, I don't really want them. I'm not going to cut them off too hecka short, but again, I don't want them in my way. I'll come on right about there. Make sure I don't need any other ones. Yep. Then I take these and I'll tape them up. There you go. Auxiliary harness is done. Have my hood pin and I have my parking lights, which is negative output. My headlights, my parking lights. And look on here is positive out. I'm sorry, not parking lights, it's the horn honk. The horn honk, negative output, so that works good because I don't have to do a relay now. So light brown horn honk output, negative. Gonna hook up to my blue wire there, and then again up the hood pin is gonna be the gray one. All right, let's move on to the next wire harness. All right, here we have the door lock harness. Sorry if I'm bumbling through this. I know I can clean it up, stuff like that, but I can't cut the wires and then do a retake. I just can't do it. Just the way it works. So forgive me on that. So we're going to go on to the door lock harness. On the DEI, this is door lock harness. Some other brands out there have the exact same thing. They have internally built door lock relays. So this will work with some. Now, if you're using a 5-wire system, 5-wire door lock system means that you have to interrupt the wires and basically wire directly to the door lock actuators. You will need to run a power wire from the battery to this, unless you can tap into the wire, that the power wire that goes directly to the door lock switch. Sometimes the door lock switches after a certain time. The BCM on the vehicle will shut the power off to that door lock switch. So you can't always use that because it doesn't always work. You have to disarm it to wake it up and then hit your unlock again to get it to work properly. So get my wires tangled up here. I don't like them like that. Okay, so black white. Remember, the black white is a dome light supervision relay input. If you remember right, on the main harness, on this harness here, there's the black white wire, which is this one right here. Whatever you put into this wire, this black white wire, will come out on the black white wire on your main harness. So my black white wire is the dome light supervision, which was, if you remember right, dome light supervision, dome light wire is the black blue positive. So therefore I have to put a positive trigger to this. So that wire I want. I'm gonna put power to that, but I'm just putting aside because again I'm going one step at a time. I want that wire. The white black wire is lock, normally closed. I don't want that wire because I'm not doing a 5-wire. What I want, I'll show you here in a second, is I want the output wires. This right here is not the output wire. I don't want that one. So what I should have done off the bat was this. I'm sorry, I should have taped it up first. So I pull the fuse out, put it on top like that so it's not all tangled up my wires. Put it there, and then I take and put tape over the top of that wire so it doesn't short out on anything, so you can't see it. And then I go up about an inch and break it off. So again, I want the black white. White black, I do not want the white black. About 90% of the vehicles out there will either have to lock and unlock, will have either a power positive or negative output to lock or unlock your doors. Green black, that's the output, that's the common output. This right here, I want that one. That's an output wire. And then the next one is going to be violet black. This is input. So whatever this violet black wire input is, that's what your output on your lock output is going to be. So on my other wire here, to see, I have brown black. This right here I don't want. That's normally closed lock wire or unlock wire. I don't want that, so I can snip that one off. So the other one is blue black. Now if you look at this in here, you have the two violet wires. If you notice, when I was putting the fuse together, you can go back in the video a little bit, you'll see these two violet wires here, the violet and the violet black, they both go into this fuse. So you have these two violet wires go inside the fuse, and then you have one violet wire come out. This right here, whatever goes in on this violet wire here, whatever goes in, it's the violet black, comes out of these two wires here, the blue black and the green black. So my door locks, these are the door lock wires right here. The blue black, these are the ones that either lock or unlock the door. The green black is the lock wire, the blue black is the unlock wire. And right here you look, lock, power lock and unlock, driver kick, negative pulse. So therefore it's going to shoot out negative pulse. So in order to get negative pulse to come out of these two wires, I have to ground this violet black wire here. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of those. Now let's go ahead and tape those up, and I'm going to take and spin these now. If you want to see how I spin it, I'll just take the wires, I'll pull them out straight and tight. Right there you see the two wires are tight together. Take my drill, put them inside my drill, clamp it down a little bit. Now hold the wires over here, don't hold the harness. If you hold the harness and spin it, it's going to jerk the wires right out of the harness. So you want to hold the harness out here, or the wires out here, and don't go too fast, you'll make it too tight and you'll mess it all up. Now I'm gonna let it loose. Ta-da! Like magic. Nice and pretty. So again, with the black white wires, the dome light wires, so the dome light is a positive. I need to take this to a positive. I need to take this to a negative. So let's go ahead and tape these up a little bit, and then pull out the other harness. Alright, just so show you real quick here, I taped up the wires, the two lock and unlock wires, the green black and the blue black. I taped those together. Those are going the same direction, right? And then the other two wires, you got the violet purple, not the violet black, and then you have the black white. These are going in two different directions. And there, and then as you see, I have it all taped up, so the wires that I cut over here, they're not exposed to anything. So there's how you have it like that. So let's move on to the next wire harness. Alright, here we have the starter, well, they call it the immobilizer wire harness. Basically starter kill wire harness. This can be wired up in two different ways, normally open or normally closed. What that means is when the relay, when there's no power going to it at all, where is the starter sitting at? So you have your wire like this going to the starter, you cut that wire. When you, and then it goes to each end of these two wires. There'll be two wires to choose from. So you have an idea, the green black wire is normally closed, the green white is normally open, and the green white is let's see, green wire is normally open, the green white wire is normally actually your common. So we're definitely going to use the green white because that's the one that doesn't change. That's not going to change either way what we do. It's these two wires. Are we going to go normally closed or normally open? Normally closed. What normally closed is when there's no power going to the alarm at all, nothing. The contacts are connected. They only come disconnected if the alarm is activated and somebody tries to start your vehicle. They will disconnect. That's the only time. So again, it's when the relays inside the alarm are resting, they're normally closed. Now normally open is just the opposite. When the relay is just resting, no power going to it, it's open. And only then, if the alarm is disarmed and you turn the key to start it, they connect, so the car will stop, or will start. Here's the pros and cons. If you know, everybody says, oh well, if you have it apart and somebody rips the alarm out of your car, they still can't start it. If they rip the plugs off the alarm, they unplug the power to the alarm, they do anything to destroy the alarm whatsoever, they still cannot start the vehicle. Why? Because it's resting at open. You need the alarm to reconnect the starter wires so that you can start it. Well, that sounds great and fantastic, but what if the alarm breaks? If the alarm malfunctions, alarm fuse blows or whatever, gets wet, shorts out, anything like that, you are dead. You're stuck. You can't start your car. You pull the alarm out, there's nothing you can do. You can't start it. The only way to start is you have to go up in there, either fix the alarm or go in there and physically reconnect the starter wires. Not good. That's why majority of the people out there will do the normally closed starter kills. Some shops won't even actually do normally open because they don't want to deal with the lawsuits and so on. So normally closed means at resting, again, when at resting the starter wires are connected. If the alarm is armed and somebody tries to start the car, it disconnects the starter. Now if somebody grabs a hold of the alarm brain and rips it out of the car, it'll reconnect back together because there's no power going to the relays, right? So, but it's a safety precaution that I always recommend doing the normally closed starter kill. If you want to do normally open, that's up to you. Normally closed is what I prefer. I hope I explained it properly. If I need to explain it more to you, please put that in the comments. So, I'll go ahead and tape this up a little bit. It's about far enough. I want normally closed, which is the green black, that one there, and then the green white is the other one I want, which is that one there. The green I do not want. Get my cutters here, snap that bad boy in half, toss it in the trash. Alright, so this one here I could tape it all the way to the end, bust out my drill and drill it up, but I'm not going to bust out the drill. I'm just going to tape it all the way up. Alright, now that right there concludes taping up all the harnesses and separating the wires. Complicated it sounds, but it's really not. Again, you do it step by step. I'm going to tape up all of these wires. Even my LED wires I'll tape up. My program valet button I'll tape up. The only wire I don't tape up is my antenna wire because it's already black. It already doesn't blend in. It already blends in with everything underneath the dash. So now comes a part of hooking it up to your alarm brain to make it look all much more better. So let's go ahead and get the wire harnesses plugged in. Okay, now I'm gonna start plugging all these harnesses in where I want them to go. There's a starter harness. Now I've already taken my car apart. I've already looked underneath the dash. I know exactly where I want to put the alarm system, so I have an idea on how everything needs to mount. Now, this particular alarm, it has a built-in shock sensor, so I have to mount this solid inside the vehicle. Best place to mount a shock sensor is you find yourself a thick harness, main harness inside the vehicle, and you mount your shock sensor to it. That's what I'm doing in this. You don't really want this to touch any, like be rubbing against any metal. You don't want it to be touching anything hard plastic or anything like that. If it touches plastic, that's, and you know, if you can't avoid it, plastic's okay. Metal, don't touch it. The reason why is the vibrations of a loud car metal is really sensitive vibrations, so it will set the alarm off, cause a whole lot of false alarm systems. I did wrap the LED wires and as you see here, the valet wire. This right here is for the LED. I did wrap those up already, but I'm not going to plug those in because those will go in last and I'll hook them up. But the other wire harnesses right here is going to be the auxiliary. I need to lengthen those wires right there though. And then I have the door lock harness, gets attached here. And then I have the main harness that I'm going to connect next. That's a tight fit right there. There you go. Alright. So, I'll bring this around here. You don't want to bend the wires, like I'm not going to take this and bend it like this. That's putting too much stress on that point. What I will do is I'll take it and bend it like this. I just don't want to put any stress right there. But these wires here are going to run to the ignition. So they're going to run with my red and yellow wire. Remember those right there go to the ignition. So what I'll do is I'll just put a quick tape around those. And then the reason why I did that is because I might want to add more wires to it. I might have left something out and run more wires to it. Such as we have here, the violet wire, this right here went to the negative, so that goes to ground. The dome light went to positive, so I want my dome light wire. Remember here on the door lock wire, on the door lock harness, we had the black white wire, which was the dome light pulse input wire. Trying to run this as uniform as possible here. I'm kind of a stickler on that. So that will also go there because that'll go to the same 12 volt as to the ignition harness. So I'll go ahead and add tape around that. And then the next one we have, let's see, I don't need that one anymore. This right here is going to go to ground. Remember that was this is the door lock input. Violet, black is going to go to ground. While I have my ground wires going to the siren and the hood pin, but I'm going to use the gray wire for the hood pin. So I'm going to have to extend this wire out. I'm going to extend that one as well for the horn honk. So I'm going to extend those out right now. Okay, I extended the gray wire and the light brown. What I did is to use the wires I cut off. I have this right here, the green, as my light gray, and the orange as my brown wire. The reason why I have these wires because they're extra. The wires I cut off from the main harness. Remember back, I'm not using them. But the gray wire is my negative input for the hood. Well, the green wire, if I was to use that, would be the negative input for the door trigger. So it kind of goes hand in hand. They do have something in common. Green is negative input for doors, gray is negative input for the hood. So I just use the green. The orange, I'm not using orange. I cut this one off, but if in the right sunlight with my eyes closed, it looks like a light brown. Anyhow, that's why I wanted that color. So we'll go ahead and put these together. Now the hood pin is going to go where the siren is, as well as the ground wire and so on. So I'm going to hook those together and tape those up. The orange wire goes to the horn, and the factory horn location is by this steering column, which is where the ignition harness is. So that one is going to go with the ignition harnesses, the ignition wires. So let's go ahead and put some tape on those here real quick. Again, I want to make sure that my wires are not going to be kinked or pulling hard on the harnesses. Otherwise, those wires will come right out of those harnesses. Then they're pretty good, but not that good. Now, of all honesty, if I was doing this without the video, it would come out a lot cleaner. But for the video purposes, I'm not doing this normally how I normally would. But this right here just makes it easier to understand how to make the wires more uniformed and flow in one direction. So that right there, that one goes by itself. This right here is going to be door lock pulse trigger. That right there will go over here with the siren as well. The siren and the other ground wires are going to the kick panel. Not going to the kick panel, but going up in the dash area. So that goes there with those wires. I promise you, when it's all done, it looks so much more nicer, much more better. These right here going to the kick panel, along with these wires here, which I ran the green wire with the wrong set of wires. That's not good, but it's not hard to just pull it back through because I only taped up that one wire with it. So alright, so here I have it finished up, ready to be put in. I have the wires taped up here. I have the wires taped up here. So remember, I had the wires cut off here. You don't see those aren't exposed anymore. And then I have the wires here all taped up. These right here go to the ignition harness. These wires here, these are the ones that are going to the wires that are going to the hood, underneath the hood, such as the siren wires as well as the hood pin. These wires here I have all together. These are going to the driver's side kick panel. You have the lock and unlock, and you have the dome light supervision as well as the door trigger wire there. And then you have the light, the parking light wire here. See how once it's up in there, it's actually going to go inside the car like this. So when you look at it from underneath, you're only going to be able to see that. That's all you'll see. If you can see it at all. It's going to be tucked up there pretty far. Then I'll put the rest of the antenna plugged in here and so on and so forth, and those will go out other directions. Now, Again, normally I would do this a lot cleaner, but just kind of give you an idea how it works. I'll try posting a video of me actually installing in the truck so you can see how I connect my wires. I solder all my connections except for the starter wires. Those I will butt connect because they're thicker wires. They butt connect really well. Never had an issue with it. I don't care what anybody ever says. If they ever had an issue, that means they didn't do it right. They didn't use the right connector, or they didn't use the right type of crimper. They didn't crimp it hard enough. Never had a problem with the starter crimp. All the other wires will be soldered. No question about that. Again, the DEI alarms they're pretty much the most reliable ones I've ever worked with. Now, for the parking light output, the one in my truck is going to be the a positive output. You look inside this door here. They have two settings with this. You just jump this fuse right here. If you have it over here, it's a positive output. Put it on the other side, it's going to be negative output. I have a positive output, so therefore I'm going to leave it right where it's at now. So, alright guys, I hope this was informative for you. If you have any questions, please ask me all the questions you want. I do reply to all my questions. I haven't failed answering any of the questions yet down there in the comments section. So any questions, let me know. I hope this video worked out well for you. Good luck on your journey of installing your alarm system. This is the basic side. There's a lot more details in installing an alarm system. It'd be a 2-day video if I got on every single aspects of installing an alarm system, using relays and adding all different types of functions to an alarm system, programming, and so on and so forth. Again, this one right here is just to show you how to prep the alarm to make it look somewhat clean. These wires here will be going in different directions, so you need something like that underneath, so you're not going to see all big clump of wires just going mix and match everywhere else. It'll be in there nice and clean. Anyhow guys, again, I hope this is informative for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe. If you don't like this video, subscribe anyways, so you can watch my other videos and make fun of me. Alright guys, take care.